Your Honor, Commonwealth's requesting $10,000 cash bail in this particular case. And the reasons for this request are that...
Hold on just a moment.
Your Honor, this case came to the attention of the Attorney General's office and the Massachusetts State Police early this year in the winter of 2010 and in the late fall of 2009 when there was a complaint made that this individual was stealing from the Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority, which is located near in Haverhill. Mr. Whittaker is the general manager of that particular authority. They are a federally, they're a taxpayer-funded transit authority, and they provide bus services in this particular region of the state of Massachusetts. An ongoing investigation by the state police and the Attorney General's office has confirmed those original complaints as they were brought to our attention early this year. Essentially, the information that we received early on was that the defendant would go into the cash room, the cash vault of the MVRTA, that he would take money after certain buses had conducted their routes off of the top of the vault, if you will, leading him to the large bills in this particular vault, because they were the larger bus lines, the ones that would go back and forth to the city of Boston and collect, if you will, larger fees, larger dues. This happened on a routine pattern. As a product of that, state police applied for several search warrants to actually record the defendant's activity on certain mornings over the course of the last several months. On 5 separate occasions, there was video footage that was downloaded that showed this defendant in the cash room in the vicinity of the vault, and on several of those occasions he was actually taking money out of the vault and putting it into his own pockets. The investigation culminated today with the execution of the arrest warrant based upon the May 4th activity that was caught on video recording. On that particular day, upwards of approximately $600 was taken, and that led to the single offense that's charged in this particular criminal complaint. This arrest warrant was sought today by the Massachusetts State Police. Search warrants were executed as well at the MVRTA offices for additional evidence in this particular case. More importantly, Your Honor, what happened yesterday in this particular case, Massachusetts State Police went onto one of the bus lines and they put $480 in marked currency through the bus terminals. They essentially paid for tickets and then rode the buses, at least in part, for the purposes of planting money in there and confirming this particular investigation. Today, after the defendant was placed under arrest, all 24 of those $20 bills were found in his possession at the booking desk at the Massachusetts State Police, commingled with approximately $1,800 in total at the booking desk. He made statements in his office that were Mirandized and audio taped today to the Massachusetts State Police. And he did admit that he had been stealing money from the MVRTA through this method over the course of approximately 1 year, according to his statements. He expressed remorse, said that he was the only one that was doing it, and said that he was taking this money for the purposes of paying bills. He did make a statement that the largest amount that he had taken at any particular time was upwards of $400, which flies in the face of what we have come to learn today about the amount of money that was caught, that he was caught with at the booking desk. Those essentially are the scaled down facts of this particular investigation, Your Honor. I do have the video footage if you have any interest as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Mr. Cannon?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth has delimited what might be a strong case. That is one factor in bail, one factor. The prosecutor also mentioned the seriousness of the offense and the potential of jail. I submit that's the same factor. The ongoing nature of it, well, it's charged as one scheme. They could have charged it as 20 different counts. But that's not such an overwhelming factor. The Commonwealth mentioned the breach of trust. Well, Judge, that's something to be taken care of at disposition of the case. I submit that's not a bail issue. This is a man who's 47 years old, born in Lawrence, raised in Methuen, graduated from public schools there. Methuen High in 1980, attended Westfield State in 1983. He's lived in the same house that he owns for 20 years with his wife and 3 children, all of whom are in the Methuen schools. He's worked for the Transit Authority, and he's not technically a state employee. He works for the Transit Authority, I believe it is.
I work for a contractor.
A contractor. He's been working there essentially for 24 years, Judge, with no previous record. Other factors the court can consider roots in the community. He's got the strongest roots you can have. He's lived in the Merrimack Valley all his life, except for the time he went to Westfield State. He's got the children here, all in the schools. He's got a homeowner here. No history of drugs or alcohol, Judge. No record of defaults because there is no record. There's a presumption of personal recognizance. Mr. Whittaker tells me that there's no equity in the home. There's no cash in reserves. Any amount of money, Judge. He's going to lose his job, obviously, over this. In fact, the cell phone he has is still works, so it's going to be devastating for him. He will answer to these charges. He already has. He's cooperating in the investigation. To the extent there's some discrepancy between the 400 he says that he thought he took at any one time and the 600, trivial in the big picture of things I submit, Judge. The evidence is what it is. The question is, will he return? There's no reason to believe he won't.
Well, the serious allegations, under the circumstances and taking everything into account, I'm going to set bail at $50,000 or $5,000 cash. Bail only for Mr. Gannon.
Your Honor,
Within the 60-day warning.
may I request a condition on the bail?
Surely.
Because of the way that this particular case came in, being reported to us by the authority, we'd ask that this defendant, if he is released on bail, that he have no contact whatsoever with any of the individual employees that work at the MVRTA as it relates to this case. I understand that there's probably going to be some employment issues that need to be worked out, but I'd ask that perhaps the probation department assist with that to make sure that there's no contact that would result in perhaps any intimidation of any Commonwealth witness going forward. Our investigation, for the most part, because our limited contact with MVRTA is just beginning at this point in terms of the additional audits and things that we will be doing. So we're just going to ask for that additional probation pretrial condition.
The order is that there shall be no contact with any employees of the MVRTA. Any contact with anyone employed by the MVRTA shall be through defense counsel or by order of court. Neither he nor anyone on his behalf is to contact anyone employed by the MVRTA at any time.
Judge, that is more the Assistant Attorney General asked for. Mr. Whittaker has personal friends on the job. He may need support at this time. I'd ask that the court amend it to the order that was requested that he have no contact concerning this case. He's not going to intimidate any witnesses, Judge. He's not going to try to scare anybody off. There's no one to scare off. The evidence is videotape and statements, essentially.
Well, it's my understanding that the investigation is ongoing. If I was mistaken in that, let me know.
You're not mistaken, Judge.
Okay, the order stands then. There's an ongoing investigation. It's a very serious matter. My order stands for now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck.
Just